you want to make this cheat sheet as useful as possible for you. So I think the first thing I would do is just add a little bit to this front part, right? So here, if I have linear increase, right, and I use y equals mx plus b, y equals mx plus b, this is always the y-intercept. I think I would just add this, right? And maybe you just know that, which is lovely, right? But then it's just the goal of the cheat sheet is to take as much as possible, put it on the paper so you don't have to hold it in your head. And then remember, this is the change, this is the slope. And in the case of linear increase, this would be positive. Whereas like this is still the change, the slope, right? But in the case of linear decrease, it would be negative. This would still be the y-intercept. For exponential change, remember that this is the y-intercept, right? The a, not the b. And then this is the change. And remember here, this change, if we have exponential growth, this would be a number that's greater than 1 because, right, we're multiplying. This is the number that we're multiplying by. And then over here, this would still be the y-intercept. And this number is the change. And remember, this one is less than 1. This one is, remember, this one kind of looks like dividing. And a reminder, right, for this change is that, like, for example, if I'm dividing, I'll just put this off to the side here. If I'm dividing by 3, that's the same as multiplying by 1/3, right? If I was dividing by 5, that would be the same as multiplying by 1/5, and so on. So here, if I notice that like the pattern in the table or the graph or whatever was, oh, I'm dividing by 5, then in here would be this number, 1/5. Okay, oops, this is dividing by 5 is the same as multiplying by 1/5. I think another thing that I would definitely add that would just make my life a lot easier is just like one example of something like this. X to the 5/3 equals, remember this is exponent, right? And you could even write it like this is exponent over index. And so here, like if I write this in radical form, this is the exponent and the index. I think even just having like just one example of this is just on the test. That way there's no chance of you getting it mixed up, right? If you're like, oh, which one was it again? Like you could just check here. And then the only other thing, I think the thing that I kind of see a lot of struggle with is, I'm going back to the blue paper that's on page 127. I think this question type is like one of the harder question types on the test. So I think an example of this question type, or even like, if you even wanted to copy some of these values, right? Like here, 32 to the 1/5 power, we needed to know what to the 5th power was 32. And I was just able to come here. Now you could just use your calculator and be like, you know, kind of figure it out. Like, oh, let's do 3 times 3 times 3 times. Oh, that's too big, right? Oh, and then you would just try it again. So it's not that you like need this information, but if you find it helpful, you know, you'd have to write really small, but you could copy that on there.